Hey y'all, and welcome to Monter's Market, and welcome to the Buzzing Into Spring collab. This collaboration is hosted by Krista over at Krista's Crafty Life, and she has asked me to be her co-host today, and she let me choose what I wanted to do, so I chose sunflowers and bees. Now let's get into DIY number one. For DIY number one, I'm making this sign, but what I'm going to do before I get into this sign is prepare my signs. I'm taking 2 of the long welcome signs and 2 of the USA signs, and I'm going to be making 2 different projects with them, but I wanted to go ahead and prepare all of them at the same time because it takes a little bit to get them ready for me to craft on, if that makes any sense. Now these little stars are metal, so I pull them off and save them for another project. They can be used at Christmas time, they can be used for the 4th of July, or anything really. So once I got everything cleaned off, I also removed the paper from the top. And that's why you see it's a little wet right there, but that'll dry. You won't even be able to see it because it just made it come off a little bit easier when it was wet. Now, I know you're going to notice my hands and my arms being all bruised up. That's because when I filmed this, I had just had a surgery and I bruise so stinking easy that it looks horrible, but I am fine. My hands are fine. My arms are fine. I can reach in my purse to grab something and come out bruised up or cut. It's ridiculous. Like, my skin is so thin. But anyway, so I take these craft sticks that I got from, I believe, Walmart, and this is the big fat jumbo ones, and I'm just cutting them down and sort of like bringing those 2 signs together to make one big sign, if that makes any sense. Now I'm going to take the long stir stick from Home Depot, and I'm going to use the width of the stir stick to draw me some lines. Once I get the lines drawn, I'm going to go in with this Cashew Waverly chalk paint, and you would think that it covers it all the way up, but I'm not putting a real heavy coat on there, so I'm not necessarily covering it up 100%, because the more I rub that cashew paint in, the more those lines sort of pop up and come through. Now I'm going to take one of the 2022 calendars, and I'm going to go in, and they have a really pretty sign in there that says honey, and it has a bee on it. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to use the whole entire sheet. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take some water on a paintbrush, and I'm going to go all the way around the edge and soften up that paper. And then what I'm going to do, as you see, is just pinch it with my fingers to sort of tear it, because I'm going for like this old vintage, worn and torn look. So once I get the paper prepared, then I'm going to go in with the antique wax from Waverly, and I'm going to water it down really good and sort of go around the edge of the paper. And then once I get it put on there, then I'll take a dry rag and wipe it back off. But it will leave behind sort of this, oh gosh, what do you call it? Just like old vintage worn look, basically. So take a little bit of water, take a little bit out of the cap, mix it together. You can see how watery it is. And then just go along around the edge and put it on, wipe it off. Put it on, wipe it off. So that's basically all there is to giving it that real old, I know I keep saying vintage, but vintage and rustic look. So it looks like it's, like been hanging there forever and ever and ever. Once I get that sign prepared, or the picture prepared, then I go in and do my sign the same way. I go around all the edge and down those lines. See how you can see right through to the lines? So I'm just going to bring those out, make them more dominant, and sort of rub all over it to give it like a wood look, if you will. So then I take Mod Podge, it's the paper Mod Podge, and I just cover the back of that calendar page with the Mod Podge, place it down, and then once that dries and is set, I'm going to go back over the entire picture with the same Mod Podge. And what that does is it just seals my paint in, it makes sure that that picture doesn't go anywhere, and seals the whole thing and gives it a finished look. And it's really a pretty, what would you call it? Let me think of the word. I guess I would call it a satin sheen. And I love it. You'll be able to see when the light hits it in a few minutes what I'm talking about. So I take these little mini sunflowers that you can get from the Dollar Tree and these viburnums and put them together to make like a swag. Once I get it figured out like how I want to do it, then put them together, zip tie them together. Zip ties are your best friend when it comes to doing stuff like that. Then I'm going to take some burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make myself a bow and put it together. And I used like a little skinny piece of burlap ribbon for the middle, but I have this beautiful little blinged out bee that I'm going to be putting there, and it wasn't quite wide enough with that small ribbon, so I ended up going in with some twine and just wrapping and wrapping to make that little part right there a little bit wider, so that when I put my bee on it, you would be able to see it, or else it would have just folded up onto the bee and you wouldn't have been able to see it. Now that bee I got from Amazon, and I will place a link down below in the description box where you can get some if you like them. There will also be in the next DIY, or actually I think I'm going to use it on this DIY too, I'm not sure, some bee and sunflower ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree. No, I didn't. I think I got that from BB Craft actually. I just lied. But anyway, now I'm just going to take and put some tape around the end of the twine and just place some natural beads. I'm not going to paint them or anything, to make myself a hanger, and just place it right back on the sign, and that sign is done. And I love the way it turned out. I think it is so stinking cute. And I did add some of those bees around to the edge of the paper. And when the sunlight hits them, they are so pretty and sparkly and blingy. And see, that's that satin sheen I was telling you. I love the finish that Mod Podge gives the paper. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about my first sunflower and bee DIY. I love this picture. And I love those calendars. You can use them for so many things. Look at how pretty those little dainty sunflowers are. They're so cute. I love it. Let me know what you think about this. Now let's get into DIY number 2. This is a book stack, and easiest thing in the world that you can do. So I'm going to take these 3 books from the Dollar Tree and take the, what is that thing called? Case cover, take the cover off, get my head working, and wrap it backwards, like, you know what I mean, turn it inside out, and then that gives you a blank canvas and you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go in on the first one with my Cashew paint, because this is going to be a whole theme, everything's going to match. Go in with my Cashew. Then I'm going to, on the second book, go in with the Maize Waverly chalk paint, which is to me one of the most beautiful yellow colors ever. It is so bright, so brilliant, so beautiful, and I love it. You know I love me some Waverly paints anyway. Once I get that one done, then I'm going to go in with the Moss chalk paint and paint that one. Easy peasy, could not be any easier than painting these and getting them prepared. Then I'll let them dry for a good little while till they're all good and dry. Stack them up, and I'm going to take this really wide ribbon that I got from the Family Dollar for $2. There was a good bit of ribbon on there for $2 actually. So I put that ribbon on there, and then this is the ribbon I was telling you about that I got from BB Crafts. It's so stinking cute. And I'm just going to glue it down. There actually will be a link down below with everything that I have used today that can be, like sometimes you can't go back and find the link, but if I can find the link, it'll be linked down below in the description box. Now I'm going to make me another little swag with the same exact flowers that I used in the first one, but when I get done with this little swag, I'm going to go in with a really big sunflower and put it right smack in the middle of this little swag that I'm making. Now this one, I just kind of taped together and went around and filled it in with those little flowers. Look how pretty. Oh my goodness, I love yellow. It is so bright, so springy and so happy. Like yellow just makes me happy. I love it. Then I took this rub-on transfer packet that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I see them all the time. And it just has these random words on it. And I got to looking at it. I wanted the words to have the same font. And when I very first did these particular DIYs here, I did it last year for a Bloom with Grace challenge that I did. And since it was sunflower and bee themed, and back then I didn't really have that many subscribers. I only had, I want to say, less than 1,000. Now I have nearly 6,000, and a lot of you guys didn't get to see it. So I went back and I just wanted to show you what I did back then. Now I'm going to take the same Mod Podge and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cover the entire thing except for the ribbon, obviously. And that's going to seal in my paint and give it all the same sort of, what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for? The same sort of finish. Oh my goodness, my brain. And anyway, I just put thankful for grace. I am so thankful for grace. I am a Christian and I'm not ashamed to say that. And grace has gotten me through a lot in my life. So literally when I put that on the books, that is a true statement of my life. So let me know down in the comments what you think about this DIY. I wish I would have thought about it. I would have put one of those bees right in the middle of that sunflower, the big one. Wouldn't that have been cute? I don't know why I didn't think of it. Now, DIY number 3 is still my favorite thing that I have ever made today. I'm going to take these boxes from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put 4 of them together, and they are not square. They are not square, so they are hard to find some that actually go together. I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue. Once I get them glued together, as you see, I'm going to clamp them down and I'm going to let them completely dry overnight so that they don't come undone. Once I get that done, I'm going to put my end pieces on, and I'm weighing it down just so that it, gets a really good, just so it locks it in really good. Or basically give it a good seal. I'll get it right in a minute. Anyway, once I do that, I put my other end piece on, and again, I add some weight to it and let it sit for a good little while, and it worked perfectly. I did end up taking those stickers off the bottom of that. So once I got that done, I'm making a double-decker, see there, look at there, a double-decker toolbox is what I'm making for my crafts or my craft supplies. Then I take this tiny little square dowel rod, and I'm going to put it right there. Excuse my hair. I didn't know my hair was going to get in the way. Then I'm going to glue it to the corner right there just so that they don't fall out. You know what I mean? Like it has something that'll hold it in right there like that. Perfect. Then I'm going to take, look at that. It goes in and out so smooth, and it worked perfectly. This is me just kind of trying it a couple times to make sure that it's loose enough to come in and out, and it worked beautifully. Then I take, I was so happy. Can you tell? Then I take this, what do you call it? Plunger from the Dollar Tree, the handle, and measure it because I'm going to take it outside and cut it. And then I take this Smokey Beige and spray painted those drawers and the outside of the other end pieces. And the reason I did that is because if I would use my chalk paint on that, it would soak up so much chalk paint that it would just use a lot. So by spray painting that one coat on there, I was able to save a lot of the chalk paint. Then I took this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous material that I got online from Amazon. And again, I will link it in the link below. And I love it. It's got bees all over it. And this, I did put the wording on the front of this. It said Bloom with Grace because, like I said, this was for a challenge that I did last year before I had so many subscribers, and hardly anybody seen this. So then I took some black paint and sort of started distressing everything, and I messed up, honestly, like just full disclosure, I messed up and put too much on one side of it. So then I had to go back and sort of make it a little bit heavier. And I wish I hadn't messed up. What I should have done is just went back and painted it yellow again, but I don't know why I didn't. Anyway, I end up taking these little, what are they called? Candle cups from Hobby Lobby. And you'll see me in just a few minutes painting them black to make little feet with. And then once I got that done, I glued them to the bottom of my little double-decker toolbox. This is where I'm going in with the black chalk paint. And I'm just sort of distressing it. Again, I love a distressed, rustic, old, vintage look. I just love it. There's those little candle cups. They made perfect little feet to bring this, like to raise it up in the air. Now I'm just going to fill it up, and look how cute. Look how much paint that holds. Then I'm going to take my little, I did paint that black. So then I decided to go in and, excuse me, make me a messy bow. And I just took some coordinating ribbons and cut them about 6 inches long, tied them off in the middle, and put one of those cute little bees right in the middle of it and hung a cute little key from it. Placed my signs, Bloom with Grace, on the front. Again, this is not the Bloom with Grace video this year, but I did do it for a Bloom with Grace video last year. And it was perfect for the sunflower and bee theme that we're doing today. So I thought, why not bring it back for the ones who never saw it? I mean, so many more of you didn't see it than did see it. So I just was excited about showing this off. But that's where I got a little bit heavy with the black, and I wish I would have went back and covered it up some. But I mean, I love it. It's really old and rustic looking, and believe it or not, it holds a lot more than it looks like. And I can either take that top layer off by removing that pole, or I can leave the pole in place. Either way, it comes out super easy. So if you're looking for some storage for your craft supplies, this is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming and watching. Thank you, Krista, for allowing me to be your co-host today and allowing me to pick this sunflower and bee theme. And don't forget to go down to the playlist now, because there's going to be several other ladies that's in this little collaboration that are going to be doing some sunflower and bee theme videos for you today. And we're going to be buzzing into spring together. So let me know down in the comments what you think about my 3 DIYs. Which one is your favorite? This one is by far my favorite. I love the way this little toolbox turned out. And it's super sturdy. It holds a lot of stuff. And when I pick it up with the handle, it literally is like so solid. I don't know. I'm just super proud of it. Love, love, love it. I love that material that I used. So let me know which one was your favorite. But thank you for coming and watching. Thank you again, Krista, for allowing me to be your co-host. Definitely go down and watch the playlist and see what everybody else has for you today. Thank you for coming to Monter's Market. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.